All right. So with that, I should say to everyone, this session is being recorded, so feel free to share your screen, contribute as you like. And as I said, if you've just jumped in, feel free to grab some lunch, go for a walk, grab a cup of tea, whatever it is that you need to do. Let's get into it. So we're going to talk about today a very quick introduction to Pinnacle Health Group, not so much as a sales pitch, or hopefully it doesn't come across as a sales pitch. It's more just so you're familiar with Trent and myself and why we feel qualified to talk on this particular topic. We'll talk about what is a wellbeing program, because effectively by talking about a wellness week or a wellness launch, we're effectively looking at really engaging in fun ways to launch your broader program. Once we define a wellbeing program, we'll then look at, well, what's a launch? Why would you launch your program in the first place? And then we'll look at some of the logistics or some of our hot tips as to how to launch a program to maximize engagement. So thanks for those of you that got back to us over the last week about what you wanted to see in this session. It's really great. And no doubt, if you take nothing else out of this rather than one or two little handy tips, then we feel we've done our job. But as you know, you're welcome to get in touch with us after the session or jump in and ask any questions over the chat as well. Let's get into it. So some of you on the call may be already familiar with Pinnacle Health Group. So we are a workplace wellbeing company. We really specialize in wellbeing programs or employee wellbeing. Those programs constitute really anything that falls under the health, safety and wellbeing banner for employees. So our classic kind of services that you might be familiar with, things like health checks, skin cancer checks, flu vaccinations, educational workshops and health coaching, those sorts of things. And that's what we're really known for. And as it says there, our mantra is to inspire healthy change. So we take that very seriously. Hence, Trent and I, if you've just jumped on, we were joking before about probably struggling to keep this session within half an hour. So I better not elaborate on that too much more, but we'll keep going. With Pinnacle Health Group, as it says there, our purpose, why we exist is really to inspire healthy change in the workplace. And we do have a target in mind. So by 2025, we're aiming to impact or inspire healthy changes to 5 million employees globally. So it seems like a bit of a fast stretch, but we're at over 1 million impact already. Again, we're not saying this to big note ourselves or to tell you how good we think Pinnacle Health Group is. It's more just to say that we do take this seriously, and with over 200 workplaces that we engage, we get access to, or we take the role of inspiring those employees very seriously, and it's over 1 million employees at the moment. Just very quickly, again, I'm hoping this isn't coming across too salesy about us, but just to give you an idea, our average program engagement, so the average percentage of employees that actually engage in wellbeing programs via Pinnacle Health Group is 38%. So for some of you that are familiar with health and wellbeing or corporate health initiatives, that average engagement's around about 10% in, whether that's something like flu vaccinations or health checks and so on. Incidentally, if you're familiar with employee assistance programs, EAP, the average engagement's only 4% in EAP. So just to give you an idea, what we think we're good at anyway, or what our clients tell us we're good at, is getting engagement. And that's really what today's all about, this launching a wellbeing program and getting people involved. I won't go on too much about that because we don't have too much time, but there's just a little bit of a snapshot of some of the people that we work with at Pinnacle Health Group. Now, that's the little pitch over and done with, but hopefully that gives myself and Trent a bit of credence when we're talking today. Now, if anyone has used Mentimeter or Menti before, we're going to start straight away by asking you, the audience, a question. And you can see the question on the screen there. We're going to ask you, jot down 1, 2, or 3 of the biggest challenges that you've faced in delivering a successful wellbeing program at your workplace. So if you just either open up another tab on your desktop or jump on your phone and you go to menti.com, it will straight away ask you to type in a code. The code there is 57336396. So that's 57336396. And you'll straight away be able to answer this question. So have a think about what's been a barrier this year to delivering the wellbeing program that you've really wanted to achieve, or what are some of the hurdles that you feel like, every week you're coming up against these challenges in getting employees engaged, or getting the awareness out there, or getting funding or budget, or senior leadership buy-in, those sorts of things. So anyway, you can pop down up to three challenges per person. So feel free to jump on to menti.com, and that will help us sort of get things started here anyway. So I'll give you a minute or two. Bit of thinking music. So go another 30 seconds here to get your responses in. And we'll all see these responses together as they come in, but we can see there's the first response, engaging the remote workforce. Absolutely. No doubt some of you that are on the call here have a remote workforce, have a workforce that are working in a hybrid capacity at the moment. Here, experience, yep, absolutely. Interaction with the exec team, yep. Team buy-in, absolutely. Engagement. Time constraints, yeah, for sure. Like a lot of us on this call, running the wellbeing program is probably not the only thing that you're responsible for on a 12-month basis. We completely get that, and yeah, so time constraints in juggling priorities and juggling parts of your role, for sure. I'll give it another 15 seconds because some really good responses coming in here. Engagement tends to be a bit of a constant thread. The exec team or leaders or team buy-in, same sort of thing. Awesome. Go the last 15 seconds. But yeah, thank you. Thanks to those that have popped down your thoughts on that there. What we will do, we are recording this session. So if you're listening to this after we've delivered it, you'll see these responses as well. And it's really good to see that. So some of the challenge, we're going to talk to that today, and some of the benefits of actually launching a program and looking at a wellness week launch. We're covering off on really overcoming some of these barriers or some of these challenges. So thank you for your participation there, everyone. Okay, so what we've effectively looked at already is we've gone, well, what's stopping us from, in our minds, all of us might have this idea of what's an amazing wellbeing program, or what's a really good employee wellbeing program that me as the health, safety and wellbeing leader, or the person responsible for that, would be proud of if I'm looking back over the year. Before we sort of define, well, what is the best way to approach wellbeing programs, and what's a really good framework to set that up, we need to sort of look back in the rearview mirror and go, well, what's been the historic approach to employee wellbeing, and what are some of the kind of mistakes or yes, some of the barriers, I guess, or the things that we haven't done that well with employee wellbeing before. And just to name a few, you can see on this slide here, some of the past issues with employee wellbeing, it's been a bit reactive. Certainly the 2 or 3 years of COVID affected life has meant that we've really had to be quite reactive. We haven't really had a choice, but certainly moving forward, having a bit more structure, having a bit more forward planning, looking to measure and use data to our benefit is something that we really need to do to overcome that reactiveness. A common tale we hear from the stakeholders we work with are that I finally get February's initiatives or the first quarter out of the way, and then I'm chasing my tail to get the next thing sorted. So it can often be without structure or forward planning, just this very much flying by the seat of the pants, crazy, hectic sort of process to deliver the wellbeing program. And again, we're going to touch on ways to improve that. Other sort of issues with the traditional approach to employee wellbeing being a little bit physical focused, a bit health and safety rather than wellbeing as a whole. I won't spend too much time on that, but I guess a little bit of assumed knowledge in this session would be that we're looking at wellbeing as not just physical wellbeing, but mental wellbeing, social wellbeing, etc. Someone brought up before, there was a couple of responses there about a remote workforce. So one of the issues with traditional approaches to employee wellbeing has been, it's been very much tailored to head office employees and not really accessible across multiple locations or those employees working remotely. Anyway, you guys get the drill. Some of these previous issues with wellbeing are probably resonating quite a lot. Others you may not have encountered yet, but they may be something that are on the horizon. So again, maybe not in half an hour today, but certainly along the journey here, we hope to educate you guys on our experience with how to overcome these barriers. Let's now dive straight into it, and I'm going to throw to Trent over the course of this session just to give you guys an idea. So Trent, when I mentioned before, we work with over 200 workplaces. Trent is the National Health and Wellbeing Manager at Pinnacle Health Group. So Trent oversees the whole portfolio of clients that we work with, and certainly Trent is the person that is in those, having those relationships with the stakeholders. So Trent, given your expertise in this area, jump in at any point with that, but certainly I'll throw to you to really cut to the chase with some of the wellbeing program tips and tricks. But what we've covered so far, we've looked at some of the challenges to wellbeing and wellbeing programs. We've also looked at, well, where does this fit in? But before we start to go into launching a wellness week and how to really engage employees, we need to really look at, well, what is a wellbeing program? A wellbeing program, as opposed to the last slide where we said the traditional approach to very active and reactive, a wellbeing program is just that. It's a program. It's a structured approach to employee wellbeing. And usually our best definition of it for our stakeholders is that it's really the sum or the collaboration or conglomeration of employee benefit initiatives that you might have at your workplace, health and safety initiatives, wellbeing initiatives, mental health supports, policies, procedures that might all be involved with anything to do with health and wellbeing. And usually our best advice at this very early stage with some clients is, we'll say, the first thing we want you to do is do an audit of what you're already doing. And often what a lot of our clients find is that, oh yeah, we've got a charity relationship with Beyond Blue, or actually, yeah, the EAP provider that we work with gives us access to this, or we've got a flexible work policy, or we've got a really great paid parental leave policy. So those benefits, they might not be on paper health and safety, but as part of a broader wellbeing program or employee benefits program, it's a really nice exercise just to go through and audit all the different initiatives that might contribute to an employee's wellbeing. Because by doing that, you don't have to start from scratch, and you can actually go, well, yeah, we've got a lot of really good stuff already here. Then after doing that audit of the existing initiatives, then it's quite fun, because you can then go, if we come up to this third point here, we can look to then either categorize those initiatives or summarize them in different pillars of wellbeing. It might be financial wellbeing or physical wellbeing or mental wellbeing. And that's where you can really get this nice structured program from. So anyway, before we go into how to launch a program and looking at a wellness week, a wellbeing program, a little bit of assumed knowledge, but just to reinforce it, is a structured approach, a structured 12-month program of wellbeing initiatives. Okay, now we've defined a wellbeing program. Now we need to look at, well, why launch a program? You know, what's the point of doing it? If we know we've already got a program, you know, why do we have to make a big song and dance to launch this program? Well, one word that came up the most when we asked the audience before of what are some of those challenges with wellbeing programs is engagement. So regardless of how many different initiatives or what various employee benefits might exist at your workplace, the most important thing by far is engagement, because you can spend all this time and effort designing the best wellbeing program that you like on paper, but if employees don't know about it, if they don't come along to the initiatives in person or virtually, if they don't get involved, it's going to be very hard for you to justify that program has been a success. So we go as far to say that the awareness part of a program launch and the engagement is the most important thing, because without it, you can't then justify budget, you can't justify resources, you can't get executive team buy-in, and yeah, you're going to waste a lot of time and effort. So a program launch is one of the simplest, but the first things that we'll often tell our clients to do. And it's really about just kicking off either the year, the calendar year, the financial year with some kind of wellbeing event. It's a great way to showcase all of those different parts of your wellbeing program. You don't have to have the 12 months mapped out exactly to the letter before you launch it. You can just have the broader overview of the program. And it's really important that a program launch must be accessible in person, but also you've got to have options for those people that might be working from home or working remotely to get some benefit out of that launch. So to give you a couple of examples here, you can see a couple of images here on the right. We've got a live, hopefully you can see that there anyway, we've got a live cooking demonstration here with one of our clients. So this was delivered from the foyer of their building, and this was with one of our dietitians, preparing a really healthy meal. It looks like smoothies there and some bliss balls. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but that's a really nice, engaging, fun way just to show, to get passers-by in the foyer thinking, oh, what's this? What's this all about? It can be branded, which I'm going to get into in a moment, but it can be branded in the name of your wellbeing program. We'll often suggest having things like QR codes associated with the launch, so any employee can jump on and then scroll down and look at some of the things they've got to look forward to as part of the program. But as you can see there, there's a live cooking demonstration. Another one here is, hopefully you can see that all right, is with one of our clients, EY, and that was the launch of their wellbeing program. And they decided to do some branded cold pressed juices. Again, that was all branded in the name of the EY Wellbeing Program. And it was really a nice way just to hand out those juices in the foyer and let employees know that, you know, you've got this great wellbeing program at your workplace. Jump on the QR code here, or go to this URL, or jump on our intranet, and you'll see all the benefits that you've got access to. So that's some really simple ways that you can look to do that. Some other more tangible initiatives, we'd normally suggest actually launching the wellbeing program. This is going to sound really obvious, but we normally suggest to launch the wellbeing program with a wellbeing initiative. So obviously this live cooking demonstration is a wellbeing initiative. You could use health checks as the first initiative of the year and launch it by measuring everyone's wellbeing, or measuring employee wellbeing, and that can be part of the launch. You could have a guest speaker come and deliver an educational workshop, either in person, virtually, or both, so in a hybrid format, and that can be the first initiative for the year, and that's one way that you can launch the program. You can have a combination of those, so you could have some juice handouts, you could have a live cooking demonstration, and you could deliver health checks or offer something remotely to employees as well. So either way, there's no right or wrong answer. The general take home from this is that launching the program in the first place is a winner. Now that's sort of what is a program launch. I should pause at this point in time and see if there are any questions about what a program launch is. And Trent, feel free to jump in at any point.
Yeah, I was just going to add to what you said there, Josh, as well. Someone mentioned before, one of the biggest challenges or barriers was the interim leadership team. So I think from a lot of our clients, what we've seen, the most successful launches have included someone from the exec or the LT in actually endorsing or presenting the program as well, and I guess showing. So that could be, as Josh talked to, it could be in the lead up to or introduction to a workshop or a seminar that was delivered, or it could be also on site. But I think by having your leadership team involved in that launch shows the employees, or essentially gives them the permission to feel comfortable engaging in well-being in the workplace, versus feeling like I don't know if this is kosher to be spending time doing this when I know I've got lots of deliverables to get done by the end of the month, for example. So just to kind of touch on one of those barriers, a really great opportunity in the launch to engage your leadership team to promote and help champion the program.
That's a great call, Trent. And it's probably a real positive we've seen, if we can call it post-COVID, is that wellbeing has been brought to the top of the agenda, and there's less of that stigma, as you say, about getting involved. And you're spot on that even having little video clips of the CEO or the general manager or the managing director really sort of championing wellbeing is such a nice way. So yeah, thanks. That's a really good point. Now, we've spoken about, well, what is a launch? Let's talk about some of the logistics. So what are the ways to execute the launch of a wellbeing program or a wellness week at your workplace? So first of all, as we touched on a couple of slides back, the first thing to do is really go, well, what are we launching here? What do we already have in place at our workplace? Doing that audit of what's already in place is a really nice way. You might discover that, geez, we're a bit light on in this area, or actually, you know, that partnership we've got with the local gym, or those discounts we get with Foot Locker, or they might seem like such a long bow to draw from wellbeing or traditional health and safety, but all of those things can then be part of this beautiful program. The second thing we look to do there is to call it something. So call your wellbeing program something. So even if it's as boring as Pinnacle Health Group's wellbeing program, I shouldn't say that's boring, because some of you on the call might call your program that, but even if it's called something that seems quite basic, at least it's got a persona then, and you can really, when it's called something, it resonates with employees, and they can associate all of those initiatives that you've done an audit and realized it all comes under that banner then. You might want to call it something funky. We've had some cool energy companies call their programs Spark or Recharge and those sorts of things. You can be as creative as you like. The next thing after doing an audit and calling your program something is then looking at a comms and marketing campaign. And that includes marketing the launch. And the launch is something like, you know, we're in December now. It might be nothing more than sending out communications to the employees that early February 2023, we're very excited to launch your own Be Well at Pinnacle Health Group Wellbeing Program. It's a holistic approach to employee wellbeing. We've got some fantastic initiatives coming up, and we're going to launch the program with a workshop by this guest speaker and some health assessments that you can go through. Something as basic as that gets your employees excited, and it gets them leaving the calendar year or financial year or looking forward and going, geez, that is a good place that I work, and I'm excited, you know, that my employer is looking after me. Then it's basic logistics, locking in a date for the kickoff or the launch, making sure you've got access to at least some of the initiatives in a hybrid format. So that might include virtual delivery of the workshop, virtual options for health checks, the live cooking demonstration, recorded and accessed on demand, those sorts of things. And as you can see, there's some of the example initiatives. Workshops and seminars are easy to scale. Health assessments. You might look to do a challenge. So you might look to do a 2-week step challenge or a mindfulness challenge, those sorts of things. And just finally on the logistics, when you launch or you kick off a wellness week or a launch week for your program, it's a fantastic opportunity to gather some content. So get some pictures, get some little videos of the CEO or whoever it might be, the head of HR, get some pictures of your staff getting seated massage, whatever it may be. Fantastic opportunity to showcase even more the stuff that you're doing. Okay, the last one from me, and then I'll hand over to Trent. So the benefits of launching. So we've spoken about the program, we've spoken about what is a launch, we've spoken about how to launch, why to launch, just to really reinforce this before I shut up, is awareness and engagement. We've already touched on it. Recognition. So showing your workplace. Well, there's been a lot of thought and a lot of effort gone into this. We want to showcase this. We want our time at the start of the program or throughout the year where it's all about wellbeing, wellbeing week, wellness week, health and safety week, whatever it might be. Get that recognition because it's a really good time to showcase that. It's a great time to recruit wellbeing champions. You know, this thing can't be done alone. You need other team members in different business units and so on to really get on board and say, I can help out with that. I'd like to be the key stakeholder in this office or this employee hub and get people on board. It's a great time to get employee feedback. So you can often pair the wellness week with surveys on how you're finding our wellbeing program, or what are you most looking forward to with our wellbeing program. And it can be fun and really inclusive. So that's some of the benefits. Trent, I'm going to hand over to you here, being the expert in all things wellbeing program. Sorry, I've given you not much time. Over to you.
Thanks, Josh. And I've just noticed your comment there, Jane, in the chat box about the exec team supporting the wellbeing initiatives, but are not actually, I guess, taking or participating in them as well. So yeah, I guess that's certainly a challenge. And I guess all we can say to that is that, as we know, for any kind of initiative or program, if you're not actually participating yourself, then how do you really feel? You can't really measure the value. And at the end of the day, if you're having to report on your back at the end of the year on the success of the program, would be, that's, I suppose, your ability at the start of that to leverage and say, well, I want to report back on the success. So I also want you to be involved so that you really understand what I'm talking about in terms of what is involved in a health check or what's involved in a skin check, and sharing that as well. So, but yeah, certainly a really great point. Now, I know we've only got a couple of minutes here, guys, so I'll try and race through this, but kind of everything Josh has kind of explained, the why, what's involved, and some of the ideas around potentially including in your what to include in your wellness week or your wellness program launch. So we, I suppose, over 12 years now delivering corporate wellbeing services, I suppose, have developed a structure or a framework around a wellbeing program. And as you can see here, we've called it our SPACE framework. So it kind of covers or talks to 5 different areas of wellbeing across, as you can see, the structure, psychosocial safety, awareness, wellbeing champions, and then how do you evaluate or evaluation of your program. There's a lot that we can go into under each of these points, really, and we're obviously, as Josh mentioned earlier, more than happy to have some strategy discussions with any of you post this session today if you feel that's valuable. And also we do have a SPACE framework scorecard or employee wellbeing scorecard that we have access to, that we can also share with you in the follow-up if you're still in that evaluation phase of where you're at with your wellbeing program. Josh, I might get you just to skip through the next slide there for me. Go back one for me.
Oh, you're right.
back. That's the one. So yeah, really quickly, with the SPACE framework, you can see there the 5 different pillars. What we're talking about with a wellness week launch, the 2 key areas here are really structure around the program. So, I guess showcasing that you have a wellbeing program, you have a name for the program, you've got quarterly initiatives within this program, and it's covering, physical, mental, social, financial wellbeing, for example. So just being able to showcase that you've really thought about this and that you're able to cover or engage employees that are interested in wellbeing across a number of different areas, or maybe one specific area for them. And the other one really is awareness. So obviously, as we've talked about, it goes without saying that the main thing that we're looking to get or achieve out of a wellness week launch is to create awareness around your program. So if there's anything else that comes in there as well, it's probably champions. So by delivering a wellness week launch, hopefully, if you don't already have a group of health inspired employees that really want to help you, leverage or filter down the wellbeing initiatives, this might be a great chance for those people to attend and go, oh, actually, I really love this. This is amazing. I would love to be a part of helping roll this program out. So an opportunity for you to engage champions as well, on top of obviously engaging your employees. Keep moving here and just skip through pretty quick. So I've pretty much covered these off. So obviously with the structure, you've got your launch, you have your, I guess, promoting your wellbeing pillars, either your internal wellbeing pillars as an organisation, or we work with a lot of our clients on suggesting key pillars across healthy minds, healthy bodies, healthy culture, for example, including quarterly engagements in your program. So at a minimum, quarterly engagement. And then with our clients, certainly those that are on 12-month structured programs, we certainly encourage a working group, I suppose, or a committee to catch up quarterly, firstly to review the initiatives from the previous quarter, to be able to assess the data, and obviously, like any of us, we want to measure return on investment here. So assessing the data, has this been valuable? What worked? What didn't work? And then I guess, covering off, are we all on the same page for the next quarter's initiatives? What are the dates that we're looking at? What are we including? What are we seeing from our EAP data? So is there any tweaks that we can make? For example, there's lots of things that we can cover off in those quarterly committee meetings. And I think this is just about lastly, just a really quick example of an annual program, or this is really a 6-month calendar. As you can see with this particular example, it's a wellbeing program launch to kick off. There's a monthly theme across this calendar. We generally recommend either monthly or quarterly. You can see it's a launch of the program involved a Sun Smart or a skin cancer check campaign. You've got your immunity focus in April with flu vaccinations. If you roll forward to July, you've got your health check program. So again, 3 areas there that you can measure some data for your employee groups and your employee group and their overall wellbeing. And then in the middle there, we've got Mindful May and Winter Nutrition. So some mental health and some physical wellbeing content around workshops, collateral, these sorts of things as well. So that's just one basic example, just to give you a bit of an idea if you're not already structuring it that way. All right, so that kind of brings us to an end. I know that we're already 4 minutes over, so we'll wrap this really quickly, guys. But you can see here, this essentially, as I mentioned a couple of moments ago, we're certainly happy to and would welcome any discussions post this session to help you launch your Wellness Week, or if you're in that, from the conversations I've had in the last couple of days, there's a handful of you that are in that launch or strategy around when are we going to launch and what are we launching in our wellbeing program. So there is we'll share a link with you perhaps in the follow-up. Or Josh, I don't know if you have that on hand.
Yeah, I can grab that actually. I'd have to jump out of this screen. So if you guys hang on, I can grab that. Or if you just go to pinnaclehealthgroup.com.au and you can click on the Inquire Now button and you can select that one there. But we'll flick that information through to you as well. Good stuff. So yeah, sorry, Trent, I reckon I gave you 2.5 minutes to get your part in today. Thanks for everyone for staying on. It's our first 30-minute one, so you can tell we're used to talking a lot more than this. Thank you for staying on. Feel free to hang around and ask questions. And Trent, sorry if I cut you off there, but feel free to jump into that. And I'll stop sharing screen now, and I'll grab that link for everyone as well. Thanks, Georgia. Thanks for jumping on.
Georgia.
I will just jump out of that and I'll grab you guys the link for that. But yeah, feel free to ask any questions to those that are still on.
Thanks, Jane.
Thanks, guys. Oh, I'll just click it in the, oh, it's just you and I now. Cool. I'll stop recording, mate, and yeah, get that through.